Jacob is a first-time caller out of Michigan. Jacob, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Thanks, Jesse. How are you doing today?
All is well. You're not allowed to be on speakerphones. You're not allowed to be on Bluetooth. It doesn't work for the radio. Okay, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, Jesse, I'm trying to not be a beta male anymore. Today's my big day. I'm going on my first ever date. I was hoping for some advice.
You're going on your first date today?
Yep.
You've never dated before in your life?
Nope.
How old are you?
23.
And what's wrong with you that you've never had a date until now? Are you an incel?
To be honest with I never called myself one, Jesse, but you know what? About 2 months ago, I saw your interview with Destiny. That was the first time I ever saw you. And I said, holy crap, that could be me, you know? So I decided to change my life around that time. Man, that man was just the worst, wasn't he?
He was amazing. And so how did you get this date?
I live in a dorm room, you know, and our hall has a laundry room. So I was doing my laundry, and this girl came in, and I just started talking to her, and I just asked her out. I don't know how I did it, but I just did.
And so what is it about you that is afraid of women? Why are you shy or afraid of women?
I think I'm just anxious about most things, you know. I don't like to do things I haven't done before.
You don't? Have you overcome your mother? Because that's truly the nature of your mother.
No, I hear you say that a lot. I definitely have nothing but love in my heart for my mother and my father, but I've really come to grips with my hatred that I've had for my brother, and I've kind of overcame it.
So did you go and forgive your mother and father?
Yes, sir.
And then did you forgive your brother?
I'm working on it.
What do you mean you're working on it?
Kind of hard, sir. I don't know.
Why is it hard to forgive? Is he your older brother?
Yes, sir.
Why is it hard? And you're 23, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is it hard to forgive your older brother? What do you hate him for? Why do you hate him?
Did some things that I don't like. I find him to be untrustworthy. He's a liberal, you know.
And
so there's.
What did he do to you, though?
Deceitfulness to me. He's always been.
He what?
He's always been deceitful to me.
Oh.
Always lies for his own personal glory, you know.
And do you have a right to hate him for that?
No, sir.
Well, just forgive him. That shouldn't be too hard.
I try. I try and I fail.
And how did you try and fail? What did you do that failed?
I ask God. I ask myself, and I think I'm better than I was when I started this trip after watching you 2 months ago. But if I'm being honest, sir, I don't think I've really come to grips with it. You know?
Yeah. And so God didn't tell you to ask Him. God told you to go and forgive whomever you have a problem with. So you gotta. Do you realize that if your brother could have been differently, he would have been?
Right, but I just feel like he does things that just go so far against morality.
But that's not your problem, nor is it your business. That's his problem and business. Your problem is not to hate him for it.
Well, for example, sir, you know how like my parents paid for our college, you know, and my brother, he graduated years ago, and my parents are still paying him off, and he's giving their money to Planned Parenthood, even though he knows that the rest of the family doesn't believe in abortion.
And you say he graduated 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And so what does that have to do with you? It seemed to be an issue with your parents. They are being weak. If they weren't weak, he wouldn't take advantage of them. They have made him that way. What does that have to do with you? It's not your money.
Makes me angry.
Why?
I just don't think he's honoring our parents that well.
But your parents don't think so. Your parents don't mind. They're still paying it.
Right. I know.
And it's not your money.
Right. It's just I would never, if I felt the way he did, I would never use their money to do something that they didn't support.
But that's not you. They made him that way. That's why I know a lot of parents who have set their children up to fail by making them a certain way, causing them to rely on them. But listen.
How did I end up being better?
I know, listen, by causing them to be spoiled or rely on them, and because that nature is not developed. And so it's not your brother's fault, it's your parents' fault. They made him that way.
I don't know, sir. I don't think it's my parents' fault. I think my brother's just a child of his father, the devil.
No, it's your brother, your daddy and mama's fault. They made him that way because if they didn't take care of him, he would have to do for himself. But they made him that way, so they'll get it back what they put out. You're wrong.
Ready to hear this 28-year-old, right? He's having a mental breakdown. He lives in New York. My parents fly him home to Michigan so he could take a few weeks off.
Well, you see how weak your parents are?
They would do that for me, but I would never put that on them, you know?
But they put it on themselves, Jacob. You can't blame your brother. Your parents created your brother to be that way. Now they are reaping the reward of what they have planted. They made him that way. He didn't become that way on his own. That's why they still take care of him, because they feel guilty now of what they have created, but they are subject to it. Now they feel like they have to take care of him because they have made him to be that way. It's their fault, not your brother. It's your brother's fault now that he's an adult and has not overcome. But your parents did that to him. He didn't make himself that way. Had they treated him differently growing up by making him work, earn his way, not just taking care of him, making decisions for him, doing everything for him, he wouldn't be that way.
Now, Jesse, my only counter-argument to that is that they've raised me the same way they raised him, but yet I have respect for my parents. I have respect for my culture. I'm a born-again Christian.
So
I don't think he's any of those things. How did that happen?
But how do you think you said earlier you were better than your brother?
I don't think I'm better than anybody, sir.
I thought you said they raised you.
That I'm not. No, I didn't say they raised me better. I'm just saying they raised us the same, but I ended up better.
How'd you end up better?
Well, I'm a Christian, sir. And
No, you're not.
I'm not a.
You're not a Christian.
What do you mean, sir?
You're not a Christian.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No.
Why not?
Because you hate your brother. You can't love God and hate your brother. You're no better than your brother.
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
Yeah, I know.
Your own ego got you thinking you're better, but you're as bad as your brother because you hate him. And you're not a Christian because if you're a Christian, it's impossible to hate. Because God is love, and so your nature would be all love. That means that you would see what's wrong, but you won't resent what's wrong. You'll be able to stand up to your brother.
Can you forgive someone and can you forgive someone and not hate them? I mean, are you allowed to hate someone and forgive them?
You're not allowed to hate at all as a son of God. God is not of hate.
I hate them.
Yes, you do. You said you did.
Well, I mean...
Now you're lying. Beta!
I know. I told you I'm a reformed beta. Reformed.
Right. But
I'm working on it. So anyways, about the date question.
But let me just say this about your brother. Listen, I'll get to your date thing. Let me say this first.
Yeah.
You got to stop hating your brother or you're going to be a beta all your life. And your parents are to blame for the way he is, not your brother. Your brother has a responsibility to overcome it, but your parents made him the way he is by taking care of him all of his life.
Right, sir. I'll pray on this.
You don't need to pray. It's already apparent. But but anyway.
I don't know.
Ask about what you want to ask me.
Well, everyone, I ask them, and they say, "Be yourself." And I mean, you know me. You know how I can be a beta at times. I definitely shouldn't be myself, right?
No, don't be a beta.
Well, if that's who I am currently, and everyone tells me to be who I am,
No, don't be a beta. They're wrong by that. But see what you don't realize, Jacob, you're going to always deal with women in a weak way. You're going to be shy, you're going to be afraid. Until you overcome your mother, you will never be able to deal with women in the right way, because every woman you get with is going to be like a mama to you. And so you think that your parents are so wonderful, and they're really not. They have deceived you. Just because they pay your bills and just because they pay for your education, that doesn't make them wonderful. If they had been upright, moral people, and your father was the head of your mother, you wouldn't be in this situation today. So what I recommend, since you have not gone and forgiven your parents, with this girl you're about to date, just treat her the way you would treat anybody. If you're out with guys, treat her the same way. Have fun. Don't expect anything from her. Just be, treat her the way you treat your friends.
I see. Would you say it's a good idea to not bring up any politics and like my support for the Great White Hope?
If you want to bring it up, bring it up. You have the freedom of speech. And if she doesn't like you for your politics, and if she want to leave or don't want to be with you, that's fine. Let her go.
Is it deceitful to not bring those things up about myself?
Yeah, if you're hiding it because you're afraid of her reaction, then it's deceitful. You're being weak.
This is too much, Jesse. I wish I was still just sitting in my room playing video games all day.
But you see how afraid you are to deal with this girl?
Yes, sir, I am.
Who do you think made you that way?
See what you're getting at.
What am I getting at?
You're blaming it on my mother.
And your father was too weak to deal with your mother, and so your mother imposed on you, and now you're subject to your mother, which makes you subject to all women instead of to God. You're afraid of women as your father is of your mother. That's why they did the same thing to your brother. Your brother is not to blame for the way he became. He's to blame for not overcoming it.
So how did I overcome it? Or I haven't, but how did I end up better than he did?
You're not better than he is. You are as bad as he is. You're just...
But I'm not a liberal.
You might as well be.
No, I'm not a liberal.
You are. You're afraid of women. And you
I'm not afraid of them. I just never wanted to date one before.
And you hate your brother.
He probably doesn't like me either.
That's no reason for you to hate him. You don't have to agree with him. You don't have to go along with what he's about, but you don't have a right to hate your brother. Look how weak you are. Would you want your brother to hate you for being so weak?
Yes.
You want him to hate you?
I think if anyone knew how weak I actually was, I don't think anyone would like me.
Well, you know what? Forgive your mother for what she's done, imposing on you, causing you to become angry, and forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother. The weakness will leave, and in God you will be strong. And no matter what you do, you will deal with it with perfect love, and perfect love is strength. You will have no fear, because once the anger is gone, so will the fear disappear.
Wow. Sir, can I get a amazing?
Amazing.
Amazing. God bless you, Jesse. Have a great day, sir.
Will you do that, Jacob?
I'll try. I'll call back next week and I'll tell you if I've changed my life around.
All right, just be yourself with it. Meaning that if you are Trump supporter, don't hide that from her. She doesn't deserve for you to hide that from her. Be yourself in that way.
Right.
And don't be all grinning. Right, don't be grinning all the time trying to get along with her.
Should I ask her about herself the whole time, or is that kind of like creepy?
That's creepy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Let me know how it goes, Jacob.
I will, sir.
Nice name, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Jacob. Call me again.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Amazing. Isn't it amazing? Fathers and mothers have destroyed their own children. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do that.